skating lesson. My name is Dave Lees, and today I'm thrilled to welcome Romain Haguenauer to the show. Hopefully I said the French okay. How are you doing, Romain?
I'm very good. Just finishing my long day of work. I'm here for you now.
Okay. So I'm curious. We are in July. Obviously, teams are getting programs. It's usually a really busy time for you. So where are you in that process?
The process, so we have been working with my team, of course, for 2-3 months on doing choreography. Mm-hmm. So now we are. I am in a period where you look at the program, you say, where do I start to make it look good?
Okay.
So it's coming for many of the teams. Some of the team are already start their season. I'm leaving tomorrow night for Great Britain for the first national, for example, and we also have the summer competition. But for the top teams, it's going to be a bit later with the challengers and some Grand Prix. But yes, the choreography are mostly done, and we are working on make it work.
How is the stress level at this point in the season? When does it start to pick up?
Oh no, there is not so much stress. That the past months were as usual very exciting because building the choreography it's very exciting. It changed from the usual work during the season. Now, yes, as I said, you watch the choreography, you decide, no, this doesn't work, this work, we keep this, we keep that, how to make it work, it look good. So it's an interesting period. So, and the stress is not here.
Okay. How much music have you been listening to? Because it seems like it's different this year. We're doing a Broadway theme for the rhythm dance that's more unusual.
Yeah. For the first time, the Ice Dance Committee of the ISU decided to choose the variation of musical, Broadway, musical movie. So the choice is quite open, but at the same time the difficulty is to find the correct rhythm because it's open to the musical, but it has to be between the quick step rhythm, quick step, Charleston, swing. So it's kind of restricted. Mm-hmm. So it was a bit tricky to find the good set of music for every team because the problem we have, it's not a problem, it's a good thing, but we have to choose different theme, different music for every team and choose the good one for each one. And it was a lot of work, a lot of time to listen, but also very interesting to create. I've done myself a lot of rhythm dance this season. So yes, I can say I can move to Broadway and pretty myself to help some choreographer.
So how do you, I guess, do the quick step and not make it look corny? Like cheesy kind of American Broadway that is. It seems like it's a challenge for this season. Yeah.
It's the challenge, but I think depends of what you have chosen. If you choose a music, disco music, famous, there is a lot of Broadway show from this period. It has to reflect the music and the character. So so some of the choices are cheesy, like you said, but if it's well done, it's not going, I hope, to look very too cheesy. So it's the goal.
Well, the Montreal team is known for having good programs, so there are high standards here. Yeah, this is.
I don't know. In the past, but it's something we have to always renew and build. As I said, the best for each team, because our goal is to keep the identity of each couple we have, and for them to look good regarding their choice of music. So I'm confident. I think some programs are going to be funny, the other one a bit more serious, but always in the character of the musical chosen.
So one of your students told me that you really like to work on the rhythm dance, that you really get into it, you really like to work, I guess, that portion of the ice dance. Was that your strength as a competitor?
Not really. I competed a super long time ago, so it wasn't, I can't tell, it wasn't my strength. But it's I don't know, I don't think I've done maybe more. Well, it's not true. I've done a lot of free dance, a lot of short dance, but it's another exercise, I would say, as a choreographer, because you have to intricate all the elements. So we don't have a lot of time for transition between the elements. So you have to make the element looks like a transition, which is possible with a partial step sequence, for example. And yes, it has to be well coordinated for the teams to be able to feel good during their program, but also like there is a strategy, of course, regarding the strengths of each one, even based on the technical point and also the artistry. So it's always like yes, I like the strategy of this artistic exercise to correct rhythm dance.
How about the challenge last year? The ISU had made a lot of changes to the free dance. There was a lot, the choreographic step, the sliding. Have you enjoyed that as a choreographer, working on that?
Yeah, a lot. It's always pushed them as coach and choreographer to have a new thing. And last year was, I think I quite create cool thing with some of my teams, and with every of our team we try to explore a different view. And this season in the free dance it's not many changes, so we try to push further this creation. And yes, it's always it's interesting, and I can say that the Ice Dance Committee by adding or trying to push forward the discipline, even sometimes the choices are not fantastic, but I like the fact that they want to innovate, to push the discipline further, to do not stay like at the same level for years, and I think it pushed everyone to be better.
So I want to know a little bit about your skating career. I know that you're from France. You trained with Muriel Boucher-Zazoui. So I guess how long were you coached by her for? And you skated with your sister, correct? Yeah.
Yeah. I started my career with another girl when I was like between 8 and 8 years old. I started to be taught by Muriel. I was like 6, 7 years old. And yes, I from the age of 10 to the age of 20, I used to skate with my sister, and we did like national competition, French national champion in pre-novice, novice, and we did some junior international competition, the junior world, and 2 seasons of senior. But at the time in ice dance, we turned senior at the age of 18 for the men and 16. No, it was 18 for both boy and girl. So we turned senior. I was 18. My sister was 15, and we skated for 2 years in senior. And after my sister wanted to quit. She also had back problem, and she grew up a little bit too much for me. So yes, when I ended skating with her, I was questioning myself and say, okay, should I continue? And at the time, I didn't really want to go abroad just to focus only on my skating. I didn't really know. I was very young. But at the same time, I was thinking for my friend skating, and one of my coach quit the center to teach. He wanted to do something else. So that was happening, and I said, okay, why do I try to be a coach too? And I started like that. I was 20, and I came. I called Muriel. I said, okay, maybe so Christophe left, so maybe interesting to teach. And she said, okay, if you want to try, come. And I came to the rink, and I started to work very naturally with all the skaters she had, who were
they're your age. Yeah. So did she have younger teams as well that you worked with, or how did you kind of develop that coaching?
Not much. I skated with the couples there, and it was some junior team, and I started with everyone, and some of the skaters came to me, please, Romain, can you look at this lift, blah, 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 and it started really naturally like this, and for me, it felt super natural because I don't know. It's I've been always very passionate with the sport, figure ice skating in general and ice dance in particular. And I was super pleased. And I always kind of have had this, I don't know, the view of how to do it. It was something that interested me maybe more than to be a champion myself. So I think it fitted super well and super quickly this role of coach. Of course, I had no experience, but yeah. So the same year, it was I started to teach in '97. I was just 20, 21, and I went with my first team. It was a junior world, the same year, and so I was 20, and at this season the age to be eligible in junior just have changed. So I did as a coach of the junior world, and I could have competed myself in junior at the junior level. So I was lucky to start quite at a high level. So.
Had you thought about continuing competing? Like, did you try to? No. Okay.
No. Never 1 second I had like thinking like, oh, maybe I should skate again. Never. It was my thing.
Okay. Now, which teams were there when you, I guess, started coaching? Because this was such an international center at that time. There was Enesina and Pesara.
No, not so much at the time. So Marina and Gwendal were already there. So I was lucky enough to start my career as a coach with such a good couple at this time. They were about 5 years before their Olympic title. So yes, and some international junior and senior, and later came Isabelle and Delovel Schwenfelder, which I teach that from their senior debut, and after I started with Nathalie and Fabien. I used to teach Nathalie with her previous partner and Fabien with his ex-partner, so I was really here to create the couple and a lot of other team after.
So did you actually coach Marie-France and Patrice?
Yes. Yes. They arrived in Lyon after the Olympic season, after Salt Lake City Olympics. So from 2002 to 2007, I teach them. And
you're younger than they are, actually, right? Like a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. It's true that I'm the youngest. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, I was. But because I started so young, let's say for 10 years, I used to teach people who were like my age or a little bit older than me. So yes, but we are very close.
Now, did you have a specialty, I guess, when you started coaching? Did, Muriel put you in charge of certain things when you divided, or how does that work? Yeah.
No, it was very natural. It's a bit like today I work with Patrice and Marie-France. It's not like, okay, you do this, you do that. When I started, I was maybe more into the technical part, because I think when you are young, it's a bit more something like you like to do. But I also developed my artistic, my choreographic skills. So I was maybe at the beginning more in the technical part, and I think one of my quality is that I work very fast. So I'm very efficient on what I do, and I usually see the problem, find the solution, and I'm quite fast to do that. So it helped at the time to develop the center, because when I started to teach in Lyon, it was Marina and Gwendal were there, but it was not so many teams. Because with me, I always had the ambition to make a real big center and to give the attention to everyone, not only the best one, and after it's a bit low. And for me, it has always been as important that to work well and a lot of time with the best, but also to develop the future. And I think I was a big part of that, developing all the junior team, and I always teach some senior, the top level, but also a lot of junior. I've been last junior world, it was my 22nd junior world as a coach, which I think it's a big, for my age, it's quite big, because I always wanted to have a big center with the top, with the junior, with every level to push everyone to the top. And it's also we created with Marie-France when I joined Marie-France and Patrice 5 years ago. And I had for the first time the junior world champion, so I was very proud of this title. I had everything before, but not this difficult title to get.
So that's interesting. And I know that you actually choreograph some of the programs. I know that we think you're very involved with the choreography. So how do you, I guess, divide that with Marie-France? Do you take on certain programs and lead that, and she leads others, or kind of how do you, when you have two creative people, how do you do that? Yeah.
It's really the feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it could happen like, but it's funny because most of the time Marie-France wants me to do it, and me I always Marie-France because I think she's better than me, and a bit like a reverse. It's not like I want to do that. It's more like this. It works, and me I really push. I say no, Marie-France, it's really your thing to do that. I'm not pushy to do things. Mm-hmm. And yes, so it's very natural, and it's we ask each other, okay, I think I see you doing that, and I say, okay, well, why not? Or sometimes I would say, no, I think it's your thing, like, it's more for you. But anyway, we work as a team, so everything Marie-France does, we all work with Patrice, of course. Mm-hmm. Important, and the other coaches and the other whoever works in our center, but it's really a teamwork. And even if yes, the name of the choreographer, of course, the creation is important, but after, like, it's nothing if you don't have the work to everyone behind.
Now, are there any programs you led that we would recognize? I know that someone was saying that you did Fear and Gibson's free dance last year. Is that okay?
Yeah. Okay. I worked with them for time. Like, I worked with, like I was still in Europe. She was a solo dance, and so I did last year, and I did a lot of basically all of their programs since they started, and I'm sure very soon I will say I've done enough. You need to see someone else. I always be. Of course, we'll help them, but sometimes I think it's important for the skaters to change choreographer. They need they always need a new thing, because more you work with someone, more basically you have a pre-idea, and you sometimes believe that they won't be able to do this, or they are good at that. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it's good. Me, I can say that the best thing I ever done in my career choreographer, let's say, it's with people I didn't know.
Okay.
Because you don't care, you don't know, so let's try this, let's try that. I exaggerate, of course, but it's somewhere it's a bit easier to have no limits on what you create. In particular, when you coach them the whole year. So, because you know before what will be the problem, so you have to be ready.
So obviously, Gabby and Guillaume have worked with Christopher Dean. So do you bring him in and collaborate together? Do you just send them to Colorado to work with him? I guess, how does that process work?
But the first time, so we plan to work with him. So it was after 2017, but for the Olympics year, and I think they really needed to have someone in this exercise of the rhythm dance to work, and Christopher appeared like of course I always admire him. I used to work with him a long time ago when he came for Anissina and Petra. It was working well, but I think it was working even better with Gabby and Guillaume, because at the time, and I absolutely don't want to criticize, but I remember at the time he came with Jane to work with Marianne and Gwendal, and they basically like did what Chris and Jane would have done, and Marianne and Gwendal were like following them. Mm-hmm. So it took a lot of times to make it work, and we had to do a lot of changes. Mm-hmm. And it was a bit difficult, I would say. The result was very good. And so with Gabby and Guillaume, first time, Chris came to Montreal to work with them in collaboration with us. And Gabby and Guillaume were, it's not that they were not secure, but they were not as mature as they are today to be able to work like with him. and it went super fast, super well. I think they had a very good feeling, and yes, it was very interesting as always. The combination of the very, how to say, very intelligent choreography that Christopher does every time, and by contrast with more the freedom and Gabi and Guillaume have in their choreography, I think it worked super well. And last year, because Chris couldn't come to Montreal or didn't want, maybe he wanted to stay in Colorado, it's fine. I sent them to Colorado Springs, and they worked super well together too. It was really good. But then it couldn't happen because of the calendar were a bit tight. So I did the rhythm dance this season with Gabi and Guillaume, but of course I want them to continue their collaboration with Chris in the future. Even this season, it feels like to look at the program, even if it's done. I'm really open to that.
So there's always talk, I think, in ice dance about if everyone has the same style, or everyone's trying to copy Gabi and Guillaume. Are you really conscious of trying to evolve their style so it's different than last year? How do you approach that?
Yeah, but our approach, it's very clear, and I know this kind of critics. It's for 20 years I've heard that.
It happened to Michelle Kwan. It happens to everyone, right?
To every top skaters, it always happens. Like people that want always different thing. And finally, when something is too different, they don't like it.
Yes,
it's the problem. We have to deal. So, but for us, it was never the case to do something a bit similar, except maybe a little bit the Olympic program. Not similar, but to come back in a classical thing where they are comfortable for their first Olympic. And you don't have to forget that they are super young. They have never been to the Olympics before, and they were like one of the two top contenders for that. So, but I think it was a very good choice. And so every year we try to push. I try to push them, and they want to push themselves further to do different. So every approach we have for a new program is to be different. But of course, I want them, and it's for me the key of the success. And you talk about Michelle Kwan. I think Michelle Kwan she always stayed Michelle Kwan. She did different, but she was Michelle Kwan. So why she would have done something else? It's like a journalist said rightly in a press conference, you don't ask Picasso to paint like Monet. It's a bit the same. They are Gabi and Guillaume, and they will always stay Gabi and Guillaume. And they are, in particular, they have such an artistry, such a personal feeling, and they give themselves in their performance. Even sometimes when it's like the tango last season, their short dance, it was a tango. It was made like a tango, and it looked at the end like a Gabi and Guillaume program. And I think it's what makes the great champion, that they own every dance they are doing, and anyway the choice they are doing could be super different. It's them. They don't pretend someone else.
Yeah.
Me, I think it's the goal of what we are doing artistically.
So I guess we've always heard that, Guillaume is obviously such a good skater, and everyone talks about that all the time. Was that evident at a really young age? Has it been developed? I guess, is it natural? I guess, kind of how have they both, Gabi and Guillaume, developed over time that you've seen it?
Yeah, me, I think it's not fair at all to say that. It's just that we are used to see, I don't know, the idea of watching a nice dance couple is to watch a bit more the girl. But so for me, Gabriella has always been a fantastic skater, and I remember her. The first time I saw her, she was like maybe 6 or 7 years old. She was a solo dance, and I didn't know who this girl was. It was a competition in Lyon. I know her mom because she's a coach, and I saw her. I couldn't believe she just did the Fiesta Tango, a small compulsory dance for the super young, and I've never seen that before, and I saw a lot before. So Gabi has always been very good and very strong. But Guillaume is, for a boy, is exceptional because he combined the power, the softness, the personality. Even from a young age, he was super shy, but I don't know, it was not fake. It was really him, even super young, let's say, with the impression of today. So he like when they appear at the junior international level and senior, people always noticed him because he's boy, but Gabriella is also an exceptional girl, and I think we can see with the after 5 seasons, let's say at the top level, that she more. I see her more and more, and before she was maybe more at his service, in terms of leadership on the ice, and I have the feeling that it's not reversed, but it's maybe more balanced. Now from
I was watching her last year, especially the free dance. She really kind of came alive in that program. It seemed like,
it's incredible. And even me, as a coach, and I see the program like 3 times a day, and when you see how she's he also, but her in particular, the way she's able to when she technically has no problem, when they are ready and everything is clear in her head, in her legs, the way she can, I don't know how to say, like double herself, like to really live the emotion. It's speechless to see that, even as a coach, and I see that. I see them skating 3 hours every day. And so I think she's super special, and I think like to hear like Guillaume has always been better than her. It's wrong, and even when they were younger and junior, let's say that she was more solid than him. In comparison, sometimes with the stress and when things happen, she was always the strength of the couple for many years, and I think she it was her role, and maybe artistically we noticed more him, but now I think the balance is really equal, and what I think.
I had a couple. I want to know about Virtue and Moir, because obviously when you worked with them, they had such an established style working with Marina for so many years. She has a certain look, very classical kind of look to her dance. How did you go about kind of evolving their style? It was a little bit maybe more modern, a little bit different than before.
I don't know. I don't pretend, and I don't think either Marie-France or Patrice to change their style. They were Olympic champions.
Yeah.
Personally, I can say when I started to work with them, I didn't say, okay, I want to change this. This is bad. This is me. I remember the first lesson, like, you are amazing skaters. So let's try to push further, and basically they restarted to skate for that. They wanted to learn new things, and so I've always been super respectful for what they have done, and for Marina and Igor, all the coaches they had before. But yes, it was sometimes I remember like one of the first lessons I give to them. For me, it was like to work on the push forward, like very basic thing, and they were like so thankful to say, "Oh, we have learned a lot." And me, I was say, "Are you sure you just want to be nice?" Because for me it was pleased. But yeah, and it was a big strength these two had and still have. That's to really take the maximum with everyone they used to work, and feel that the coaches or the choreographer or everyone they took always the more than 100% of what you can. So as a coach, I've learned a lot with them, and it was a great pleasure. And every lesson with them, I passed 2 hours. It looks like 5 minutes. So it was very. I'm very thankful to as a coach to have been able to teach and to work with Tessa and Scott for 2 seasons, because it was a really great experience.
Now, their twizzles did get a lot better, because before that was kind of the element that you would watch, and I have to say, I never, even thought the twizzles were coming. This could be a nervous moment in their program.
Yeah, it was, but me, when I used to watch them at the time, I think they were great on the twizzle, but you're right. When sometimes something happened to her, it was on the twizzle. Mm-hmm. To them, it was twizzle. So yes, we have in our school we have some routine on the twizzle, and technically and also psychologically, and how well to not to learn, because they knew, of course, how to twizzle, but to secure that, to place them. It took time, but it was like every day, like working on this particular element, like maybe 15 minutes minimum only on that. But it's not only for them; it's the case with every skater we have, and I think yes, what we bring to them worked, because I think they were more consistent. But sometimes even with that, with the stress, let's say during maybe the first official practice at the Olympics or whatever, it was always this element had to be replaced. Most of the time in ice dance, when you don't feel good or a bit stiff or not good, it affects the twizzle first. So there is a lot of psychological mind on that, I think.
Now, this season, the Japanese are going to be doing a free dance to Lord of the Dance. And I was, obviously remembering Born in Kratz doing river dance, but then in researching you actually did river dance a year earlier than they did. So
I didn't choose the music. I didn't want to do it.
You didn't?
I did the program, but at first I didn't want. No, it's just funny, because nothing. Me, when I used to skate, like first it was not great, and it was another era. Like when you did like two chassis, it was like a big deal. So it's another sport, let's say. Mm-hmm. But it's true, just for the story, that with humility, I could say I was the first to skate on river dance. Yes. Because at the time it was our first season in senior, and I did sports university in France, and one of my teacher knew, of course, I was a skater, and she came back from England or from Ireland, but I think it was from England, and she told me, "Oh, Romain, I saw this show in England. It's a new thing. It's fantastic. The name is river dance," and she bring me that music, and it was never been used in skating, so. At my level, of course, but I skated on river dance before Born in Kratz. Yes. But they did much better.
I don't know. I thought yours was pretty good. But, okay, so you, in the 90s, I had one question. Your school was known for really long, flamboyant hair, and Asina and Pesera were all about the hair. But you didn't have the big, Patrice had long hair back then. Everyone.
No, it was after. Me, I stopped before that.
Okay.
Because of this reason, I didn't want long hair.
You didn't want long hair. Well, let's talk about the Americans, because Hubbell and Donohue have been so talented for a long time, and it's taken a while, but it seems like they've gotten a lot more confident and more consistent in competition. Outside of 4 continents last year, they really had a very consistent season. So what has that evolution and process been like?
Yeah, I think it's it takes how to say it's the same. It's of course the approach, the technical approach, and the way Marie-France, Patrice, and I are working. Also the environment. We try and we try to create like every day at the ring to be like severe, but also to give confidence, and all the environment is very important. Also the work they do with their personal coach, let's say, a mental coach, personal coach, Stephanie Hanlon, and she's doing a great job to all our students she work with. And yes, I think Maddie and Zach, when they arrived, they had a lot of expectation, but also a lot of. Do you hear me?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, yes, I think it was a lot of thing, a lot how to say, a lot of stone like in their bag, like from their young age, from their relationship on ice to which affected their confidence, and when they became like world medalist contenders, to be in this situation, like it happens at Worlds in 2017, also at Olympics. It was their path to deal with that, with this new statue of favorite. I think they were not ready at that time to become one of the top three at Worlds, let's say, and they had to work with this big problem, and I can't find my words, and I think they have solved that, and they succeeded. They really skated super well 2 seasons ago, and last season also they skated well. They had a problem at the 4 continents, but it was not because they missed or they really did a big mistake. It was a small thing. I can't say that it's really their fault. It was a lack of attention, but it was nothing major. So it was the what we call the maturity and the experience. It's true that they skate together for a long time, but not so long if you compare to Tessa and Scott or Gabriella and Guillaume or the Shibutanis, all these teams who had many years since they are kids, so they can maybe manage better the stress together. And yes, it was it's their path, and I think now they are ready, and now it's their time. Since 2 seasons ago, last season too, and if of course after the work is the work, they have to be good. We have to well with them, make good choices. But I think if they are a contender at the Olympics for the title or for a medal, they will be ready, and they will use because they have solved the problem which affected them 2-3 seasons ago.
Now, last season we did see their free dance change almost every time they competed. Was it just not the right music, not the right idea? I guess, what do you kind of...
It's always difficult, as you probably, I don't know if you know or if you imagine, when you choose a music, you always think you are doing the best choice. So you have always doubt. But so I think the idea of choose this Romeo and Juliet music was good for them, but I don't know, for some reason, maybe it was, I even can't answer to you if it was the music, it was the order of the elements. So that's why we try to play with the choreography, with the music, with the strong, with the lower, the balance of the material. Maybe it was not the good music for them, but it's the music we have all chosen, and we were all agreed to choose. And when you decide something, I don't say you don't have to change, but you have to. If you doubt that all the time, you don't improve, you don't work well. So I think we did everyone, Patrice in particular, because he has worked a lot of like every time I was going in a competition with someone, when I came back, it was a new free dance. So what did you do? So with Marie-France, we always like compared Patrice. Okay, don't change too much, because the problem is also the quality. It's not the problem; it's the way you deliver it. So more you change, but less you have mileage on it. But it was at the end of the season, I think it was very good. And but the problem, it's always the problem when you start the season and it's not so good. After you run after your season, let's say, after the confidence and after the way the judges appreciate it. So that's why it's always super important to, when you are a top skater, let's say, but for everyone, but even when you are a name, to show up at the first time super ready, or it's better, I think, because after you kind of run after what people say, what people think, what people. So it's difficult to really answer your question and to know exactly what was wrong, but this year it won't happen.
Okay. Now, they had said in another interview that they may start the season later in order to have more time, I guess, to prepare their material.
Gabriella?
Madison and Zach said it.
Okay.
Yeah. Will they do a later start? They said maybe they wouldn't do the Salt Lake City event because it's always so early. You know, are you planning a later event to?
Yes, no, but they are. I think I can say that they are more. Don't forget that last year it was the post-Olympic season,
And
so
yeah.
you know it was for every team. It was a little down, and maybe also the mistake for them that we would have maybe have to wait it a bit more, like we did for Gabriella and Guillaume. It was perfect the way we scheduled the season, but no regret on that because today Maddie and Zach are more ready than last season actually. All is good, the program runs well, and they will start a bit later, but not for that reason that they have done many times Salt Lake City, and they want to start later, and maybe they are going to start with the Grand Prix only.
Okay. So okay.
Maybe.
Yeah. Now, how about the competition in your rink? Now that Weaver and Poget retired, that means that there are 3 dance spots.
I'm not sure of that. Are you sure of that?
Well, it's perhaps retired, perhaps not. Doing Battle of the Blades, they don't seem to have programs. It would be challenging to compete. They said that they'll get back to us. So, assuming that they're not competing, that would mean, other than Gilles and Poirier, you'd have 2 spots in Canada. You have a number of teams in your rink compete, that would be going for that spot. You had the entire American World team last year. You know, has it gotten more serious? You know, even in the environment amongst the teams.
No, I don't think. I think like everyone at home, let's say, they are super, and we continually make them focus on what are they doing. When you start to look on who stop, who continue, who decide to do a break or whatever, who if you count, okay, this with Kathleen and Andrew are stopped, so me and second, automatically it doesn't work like that, and it's always not good. So I don't see that on ice. They all focus to work on their new program. But it's true that nationally in Canada, we have now, let's say, 3 good senior team with Laurence and Nikolai, Caroline and Shane, and Marjorie and Zach, the junior world champion. So yes, it's if Kathleen and Andrew decide to do not compete this season or at national, it's one more spot open for the championships or for continent and world. But we still have 3 teams for 2 spots. So for us as coach, it doesn't change much. And I think it's important for me that each of these 3 Canadian teams are competing well, are skating well, and why not? There is 3 spots, and also I don't know. We don't know. Everything can happen. It's a sport, so maybe the best Canadian is maybe the champion automatically.
Yeah.
Let's see. Everything is open, and the best will go where they deserve to go.
Now, last year you really gave a new look to Chock and Bates. You know, they were off the ice for a long part because Madison had surgery. So I guess at what point did you start working with them, and how different was that process to get them back, and then new programs, and they kind of were like reintroduced, you know, to everyone?
Yeah, but last season they came, so as you know, in Montreal, Madison was out of her big surgery, and it took a lot of time for her to really train properly. And so yeah, last season it was let's say for them a half season with us, but at the same time it was very successful. And I think after their choice to move to Montreal, they were happy to work also with different people. They needed that in their career. So, and I think they did great. It was, of course, when so at 4 continents they won, and they did absolutely not expect that result. And at Worlds, they skated well, but you could see that at Worlds, compared to all the field, they were lacking some run-through, some really train on their program. They had 2 great programs, I think, but when you have the top 10 couple on the ice, let's say the top 6, it's a sport. So you can have the best program, the best technique, the best costume, but it's a sport. So you have to be fast, you have to be powerful. And personally, I could see last year that it was a lack for them. So we're working now on that, and tell you that they are working hard now and already like nearly doing some run through, even worse, because they need to run their program, they need to improve their power, and because the quality of the program of their quality, their presentation, I think it's great. They need the power to.
Yeah, that Elvis program was amazing. Their choreographic step at the end was one of the best last season, for sure. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, what do you expect from them this season? I guess what are you expecting from them this year?
Oh, I expect for them, but I'm very pleased of the program they have. I will let them if they want to communicate for us, but I think the program are as good, or let's say for me better than last season. Of course, more difficult, more interesting, more different, but they look good on it. They will, because what I saw this morning, it was a good. They had new skates today, but it was not fantastic. But with experience, I can see the potential. But no, I expect for them to be that like they used to be 3 seasons ago, like to compete, really compete, have chance for a podium and for a medal, and they are. It's really doable. I mean, for World Championships, it will be a big battle between the two, the Americans and the Canadian and the Russian.
Yeah. I think, do you feel, with the music announcements coming out, do you feel the music is becoming more modern? We're going to have Justin Timberlake from one of the Russian teams this year. It seems like...
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, yeah. No, I did read an interview with Zhou Lim where he said that the Montreal team has a lethargic style to their skating. Now, I've heard it described as British before, or a little bit, how would you describe, your school's skating style?
What do you mean? Our style?
Yeah, like the edge quality style.
You mean, sorry, you mean
like the technique, yeah.
How to say? Personally, I work myself when I was young, of course, with some French coach, but also I was teach like many summers by Betty Calloway, who, as you know, and Jane, and I also worked with a Russian, with Natalia Linichuk, and I think personally, to speak about me only, kind of the French style it's a mix between the old British style and the Russian style. It's a European mix. And now I work with Patrice and Marie-France, and they were teach also in France. I think it's a combination of all that style, and I think we teach the softness, how to be as the North American, and a little bit more, with a little bit more attack and I think modernity, like I think they have in Europe. So it's a mixed style, and I think we have created our style with Patrice and Marie-France, and we are actually working on our method, and we try to in English to legate, is it English?
Okay.
The legacy, and we're working on our method actually in another project that we have because we work like 10 hours a day, so we are good on what we do, but we want to think and to be able to write to really work on our method and to think on what we are doing for the legacy of who we could help and what we could do in the future. I think it's important for us right now to just not leave what we are doing like this and just work like this, and because we don't want to wake up one day and say, okay, we have done great thing, now it's maybe we don't want anymore, or it's not so good, or a lot of things can happen. And I think we can give that we give that like every day to our students, but these students will become one day, some part of them become coach, and we want to, how to say, formulate what we are working on that actually. So you will have the answer maybe soon.
Okay. No, I did.
What is ours?
I read that you actually wrote a book before. Is that?
Oh, yeah. No. Yeah. Thank you, but it's not. It's a book for children. I did in France, and it was like an ABC of skating.
Okay.
Because I was contacted by an editor in Lyon, France, and he was written some books for kids about like a smaller sport, like the table tennis, whatever. And it was very interesting to do one in figure skating. So I did that book. But it's not like about a method. Like it's really like definition for kids and the parents or the kids who start to skate, just to approach the discipline, to know the words and to know about the champions.
Mm-hmm. Well, as we wrap things up, NBC had a camera that was just on you and Marie-France during the Olympics. They would just focus on the coaches, and you are very animated when you watch. Have you seen that? The coverage of you from the Olympics, it was like your own performance on the ice. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm very sorry to everyone. No, I haven't seen this one. But I saw some before, but I haven't seen this one from the Olympics. But yeah, it's really out of my control. I'm very sorry for that. But I promise you that every time one of my skaters start to skate, I say, okay, this time I don't move. I try to be. And after I realized, like, it's not doable. It's weird. I don't know. It's like we are in the program, and Marie-France, she's worse than me, I'm sure. So she's the show more than me. But yes, it's because we live the performance, and it's my way to be with the skater. It's not like I control that. It's just it's the only thing I can do. I can't teach. I can at home, let's say, I can say push. I can say do this, do that during the performance. I don't do that a lot, but I could if I want interact. And on competition, I cannot. And maybe as a coach, it's difficult to have zero control for the 4 last minutes of your work, let's say. Mm-hmm. So it's like that, but it's very personal. Some of me personally, I don't see myself to be like completely out, because when you take this stance, it's easier to do not move. And as coach, and it's one of the only sport finally where the coaches are so close to the performance of the athlete, and we are as coach literally. Of course, I'm used to, but you speak about the Olympics, you know how the Olympics is like. It's something special, and you are as a coach like at the board, like close to your skater. So I don't want to go back, because I've never done that. I feel it's important to me, of course, to be. It doesn't change, of course, anything, but for me it's important that I am quite close, because I assume I'm with them. I'm not like, okay, now it's your problem. Good luck. Not that.
Yeah.
Really personal. Me, if sometimes I feel too far, I say, no, Romain, it's not correct. You have to be with your skater. So, and when you are close, you are literally with them. You don't have the distance. So that's why you start to move like maybe ridiculously now, but it's we don't control that. We know too much of the program. We know too much the music. We know too much the choreography, and just the body speaks.
At the Olympics, how nervous were you, I guess, standing there? Because you don't want to give that nervous energy onto the students. Yeah.
Yes, I don't feel I was more nervous than a world championship or sometime another competition, even like it could be a national. Sometimes it happens. I'm nervous, like it's the first competition, whatever, challenger series. Not important, but I'm always nervous, of course, for every student, because I want them to to perform well. And but yes, for my skater, of course I don't want to let them feel that I'm nervous, but at the same time it's not normal, and it's normal that it's not normal. You are at the Olympics or World Championship. So as coach, I don't speak like I speak every day here. We can do stupid joke or whatever. I think it's part of a concentration. I want the students feel I'm as concentrate and focus on at what they have to do, and so at them, that they are with their program and performance. It's I try to act like I want they act with themselves. So of course I'm very stressful, but I try to, this stress make me stronger, and it's what I want to show them. So I think I'm quite good at that, but you have to ask them.
When the dress broke, did you feel like you were going to pass out during the Olympics? Like when?
Not really. You don't really think, and I don't know. It happens like literally in front of me, because they started right in front of us. I was with Marie-France on the board, and they just started back to us, but literally like 4 meters in front. So it started, and Marie-France, me, I haven't seen immediately, but Marie-France, she saw immediately. On the movement, she told me, "Oh, the costume is broken." So I said, "What?" So I saw that. So from the first second, let's say the second. And after I don't remember exactly what I was thinking. I'm not dead. I speak with you today, but it's just like I was like probably a little bit like Gabriella. She has felt in its performance, like living like every single moment with her, watching the dress. Oh my God, it's going. And I just remember that I was thinking like before, maybe like it's like in terms of second, like before the lift, I said no, she won't be how she will manage to do the lift, because I knew that it was a layback. I knew with the position I was saying that she will finish and did naked. That's it. And after it was finished, and difficult to explain because I was not on control of what I was thinking.
Yeah. It was amazing that you started the interview talking about how excited you were to win Junior World. So how does that compare when your team wins the Olympics? Like, is it?
No. It's. I was very. Of course, it's not the same. Of course, with what happened at the Olympics, and Tessa and Scott, they won. They were fantastic. Gabriella and Guillaume. It was a bit difficult for us because. I'm not the first coach in this situation, but I was very happy for Tessa and Scott because they won the gold, and I felt like they really skated like I've never seen them perform even at home. Like they really gave like everything they had, because even with the costume failure, like Gabi and Guillaume would have been difficult to beat overall, even if they were submerged, and they gave like everything, and I was very pleased for what they have done, and for them, really pleased, and at the same time, like super disappointed with the result of Gabi and Guillaume, because they were affected at the end by, of course, the second place, but more with the fatality of what happened the day before in the short dance. But yes, it's not my. Coach. As I said, I have a lot of experience. It was my 4th Olympics, so it was difficult, but I was with them and with the winner, but also with Gabi and Guillaume. Of course, I was, as always, and it was difficult, but we had some fun. The night of not the night of the short dance, but after the dance, we talked and we said, okay, you did an amazing free dance, and it's like that. It's your way, and you have to learn, the thing you are supposed to say as a coach, and it's not the end of the world. And
Well, it's been so much fun getting to know you, and you're a lot of fun to watch at the boards. So we'll be watching this season. Thank you so much, Romain.
I think of you next season to
Yes.
to
No,
try
we like
to
the
not
animation.
promise.
So yes, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much.